What's up, guys, and welcome back to yet another podcast episode of the Team Member Perspective podcast show. I am Coulter, your host, and just want to let you know I'm very grateful for you. Grateful that you have found enough value somewhere to want to continue to listen to these episodes. And really, guys, that is my whole goal with this thing, is really to provide value in some way. If you feel like this podcast has helped you sell more policies, maybe even, get bigger premium with your policies, help you maybe think about things a little bit differently, feel a little inspired, motivated. If you feel like it has had a positive impact on what you do as a team member, what you do as an agent, or just as a person, leave us a review. Leave us a review on the show. That is really the only way that we grow. I'm not running ads or anything for this show. Leave a review, but also share it with, someone that you feel like could benefit from this. An agent friend, a team member friend. That is my only ask. So guys, today I want to talk a little bit about, we're going to be specific here, selling the life and the health products at a higher level. Leveling up our financial service production in our offices. And I'm going to talk about an excuse that I hear far too often from both agents and team members about why we're not actually doing it. Everyone has the same goals. We want to sell more life insurance. We want to get more consistent there. We want to sell more health insurance. We want to get more consistent there. Everyone and their dog has that goal. It's not the goals that separate the top producers, top producing agencies, top producing team members from those that just aren't doing it. It's not the goal, but it's what you actually do about it that sets you apart. And a common excuse that I'm hearing is we just don't have time. In fact, I was emailing a team member earlier this week, I guess maybe it was last week, about, the training development and everything going on and the life and the health activity in their office. And this team member gives me a reason. I asked, what do you feel like is keeping you guys from producing the life and the health at the next level and finding consistency there? And she said that they're so busy right now. They're stretched pretty thin. They're a little understaffed. And that, quote, we're hoping that with our new hire, we can start implementing some of the lists and such. We're really, really busy right now. We're stretched really thin. There's not enough people to help us with this. We're not going to implement this stuff until we can get a new hire. We essentially don't have time to do it. At other agencies, I talked to hundreds of agents on the phone, and some agencies will say, hey, this sounds great. We just don't have the time. So I don't have time is a common objection that we're giving ourselves and that I'm hearing from you. We aren't able to upgrade and sell more life and health insurance because we don't have time. To some degree or the other, we don't have time. I want to debunk this objection for you. My hope is that it get you to think a little bit differently about this knee-jerk response we seem to give and place that we seem to blame for the lack of our production. It's that I don't have time. There's 3 different parts to the I don't have time objection. We're going to walk through this specifically with selling more life and health, more financial service products. If you're an individual team member, selling more for yourself. If you're an agent, selling more as an agency. You've given me the I don't have enough time objection. So there's 3 different parts to this objection. The first one is a macro part. It's a macro approach. I don't have time because I've got all of this stuff going on in my life right now. All of this stuff happening in the agency right now. We've got our customers calling in because, boy, we got a lot of rate increases lately. That's a story I'm hearing. It's because of that, the call volume's up. We don't have time because all we're dealing with are these rate increase calls. We don't have time because we're understaffed. We don't have enough team members. I don't have enough time to truly provide my team with the training and development that they need to sell more life and health insurances because I'm traveling. I've got my kids' soccer that's now started, my kids' baseball. I've got all this stuff going on in my life. I don't have time. That's macro. It's a seasonal thing. So that's the first one. The second one is more of a micro, I don't have time. And this is like a day to day, like hour by hour in your day of you don't have time. You literally don't have time to fit this in your schedule. You don't have time to call on this list because your day literally hour by hour is filled up. You don't have time to train in your agency because literally hour by hour, this thing is filled up. That's a micro in, daily, I don't have time objection. And then the last one is what we call the win-then fallacy, which we have all been victims of, even including myself. And it's this, that I don't have time, but when we have more team members, then we will do the training and development. When we have more staff, more team members on the team, then we will start running these lists and having the life and health conversations. When I finish writing this big old household that's been taking up so much of my time because there's so many policies and I just can't do anything else besides that. When I close that household, then I'll start talking about life and health insurance again. So let's go through each of these a little bit. You know what, Coulter? I just don't have time. The micro objection. You've got a lot going on in your life. Let's think about that. I want you to think about this a little bit differently. My question to you, if you feel like that's you, which probably a lot of you are like, yeah, Coulter, I got a lot going on, man. Come on. And what? We all do. We all do. So the first question I would ask is this. In reference to our life and health insurance production in our agencies, my first question is, do we want the life and the health insurance consistency to stick? Do we want it to last? Do we want it to be something that just becomes part of who we are and that we're consistent month in and month out, year in and year out as an agency, as a team member? Do we want that consistency to stick? I bet you answered yes to that. Great. Second question to this is, do you feel that it is possible that you will have another busy season in your life? Do you feel that it is possible you will have another busy season in your agency? Team members, do you feel like it is possible that you will have another busy season in your role as a team member? I bet you answered yes to that one as well. So, to bring it together here and get you to think a little bit differently about this, wouldn't it make sense to figure out how we can write the life and the health insurance consistently right now when we are busy, to figure it out in the hardest time to be consistent if we want it to stick? Because if you feel like you're going to have another busy season in the agency, if we're only waiting for that to happen and then we have time to do it and we get consistent there, it's really easy, guys, to be consistent when time is slowed down and you don't have a bunch of stuff going on. It's not a busy season of life. It's easy to be consistent there. But what happens a few months down the road when another busy season hits in the agency? How likely do you think it's going to be to stick then? So wouldn't it make more sense to figure out how to be consistent with the life and the health production now in the busiest time? Because if you can do it now, you can do it then. That's how we make sure that this thing sticks. If you've convinced yourself that it's a busy season of life and that we don't want to do these things, rethink that. Because if you can figure out how to do them now, you're going to be able to do them then when it becomes less busy, but also when it picks up again and becomes another busy season, you're going to have this proof and this system and this consistency that will allow you to still stay consistent even when times are busy again. So that's the macro. That is the seasonal. The next one is the micro. If you're like, you know what, Coulter, we can't seem to sell more life and health insurance right now because, from 9 to 5:30 or 9 to 6, we are booked back to back to back to back. We can't even seem to find time to train, let alone time to have these conversations. We're just so busy in our day, back to 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 back. I want to challenge that. What I want you to do is I want you to open up your phone right now. Team members and even agents, open up your phone, go to your settings, click into your settings here, and go ahead and type screen time for me. I don't have time in my day to fit training in, to fit development in. I don't have time in my day to run this list. I don't have time in my day to talk about life insurance, to talk about health insurance. I just don't have time. On a micro level in our minds, the day's going, we just don't have time to do these things. So if you've opened up your screen time, take a look at this. Coulter's daily average screen time. And to be fair, guys, I do a lot of work on my phone right now, but my daily average is 4 hours and 53 minutes. Almost 5 hours I'm spending on my phone. Look at your phone. How much time are you spending on your phone? And you're telling me you don't have the time in the day to run the list, to take a little time away to sharpen the axe, to learn how you can be more effective in your conversations by sitting in a training session or by practicing. You're telling me you don't have the time in the day to have a life insurance conversation? Tell me you don't. Rethink that. I think you kind of do. So what that says is there's another reason as to why you're not having the life and the health conversations, as to why you're not running the list. Maybe it's fear of rejection, but you've convinced yourself that you just don't have time. See what we're doing here? By the way, our prospects think the same way. So if you're getting the I don't have enough time objection, you can kind of think through these three different frameworks. The macro, seasonal, I got a lot going on. The micro, which is like I'm busy on an hourly basis, I don't have time to fit this in. And then the third one is the when-then fallacy, which is this. With this team member that emailed me, you know what? When we hire another team member, then we will run these lists. Or, here's a different example. When I get healthy, then I'll go to the gym. Doesn't even sound right. When I get healthy, then I'll go to the hospital. When I'm not a sinner, then I'll go to church. When 100% confident as a salesperson, then I'll have these conversations. We've got it reversed. We're waiting for something to happen and using it as an excuse, an easy way out of not actually just doing the hard work to kind of make us feel better. I don't know. But maybe I don't have it through time. I don't have enough time objection, and you're using this fallacy. Maybe it's not the real reason as to why you're not doing it, but it's just the story you've told yourself as to why you're not doing it. But I think ultimately just recognizing that we all fall into this trap of the when-then fallacy will allow us to rethink really at the root of what it is that's going on that's preventing us from having the life and the health conversation, preventing us from getting the consistency in our role as a team member or for our agency in the life and health insurance lines. When we hire the right team, then we will train them. The right team, guys, it doesn't come and then training starts, but the training happens and then they become the right team. So we've got it backwards. But when we think and if you think, I've given myself the I don't have enough time objection, or I've given different people that, or even if you've heard it from your customers, instead of just taking it for what they say, like I don't have time, and you say, yeah, culture, totally get it. Like, let's catch you when you do have some better time. I think we're missing out on a lot in our own personal growth and development, the growth and development of our team, but also helping customers actually fill the void in their financial future by getting a policy. So don't give in when you just hear, I don't have time. Instead, think through these three different frameworks and be curious. Maintain childlike curiosity. Your goal with your customers specifically, it's not to argue, it's not to fight with them. So when they give you the I don't have it through enough time objection, you want to kind of agree with them and say, hey, I totally get it. But now you have some different areas as to where you can go and dig a little bit deeper. You say you don't have enough time. Is it like just a busy season of life right now? Like you just got a lot of stuff going on? Oh yeah, it's this or that. Or do you feel like it's a busy, like you cannot fit it in your day because you're back to back, like your whole day is completely filled up, right? Now we have somewhere to go instead of allowing I don't have enough time objection to completely stop that conversation. But also agents, like the time to train your team, the time to get consistent in the life and the health production is now. Like if you want a different result this year, start now. If you're sick of the years that you almost hit your goal, start now. Stop putting these things off. And if you find yourself giving that excuse that I just don't have time, we don't have time as an agency to train and develop. We don't have time as an agency to, have life and health insurance conversations, to run these lists because of whatever it is, I would encourage you to evaluate those three areas. Is it a macro thing where it's just a busy season of life? If so, wouldn't it make sense to learn how to do it now at the busiest time so that it sticks in the future? 2, I don't have time in my day because all of this stuff is happening hour after hour. I'm booked back to back to back to back to back. If that's in your mind, what you feel like it is, pull up your phone. Like we all have the same 24 hours in the day, 8 hours in a working day. I guarantee you can make time. And a lot of the times, if that's your thing right now, and it's like, you know what, yeah, like the day to day is very, very busy, hour by hour is very, very busy. It maybe instead of thinking like I need to add these things to what I'm doing, what are some things that you can take away? What are some things that you're doing in your day that actually aren't moving the needle for you in any way? Being on your phone might be one of them. And I don't know, maybe you're looking at some training stuff on there, but I would think that a lot of what we're doing on our phones is just a waste of time. So if you could even just capture maybe 30 minutes to an hour of that per day, think about how life would change for you. If it's a micro thing, look at your day and figure out things that you can start saying no to and you can stop doing. Instead of trying to add all this stuff, if you want different results this year or this month than you had last month or last year, you can't expect to do the same things over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and get different results. Like you've got to make some adjustments here. And the adjustments I'd say to look at are the things that you're doing that aren't actually serving you. Get rid of those things. Stop doing them. Then you're going to find you have some time that you freed up. And then the last one is the when-then fallacy. If you find yourself easily going to this, that like, hey, when this happens, then I'll start doing this. When this happens, then I'll start doing this. Or when this happens, then our agency will start doing this. When this happens, then I'll start doing this as a team member. If you find yourself going there, number one, just recognize it's a fallacy. We've all been victims of this. I think recognizing it in and of itself will allow you to kind of work through that and really figure out that, like, you know what? That's made up. That's not actually true. That's not actually how this works. And it allows you to kind of in your brain flip it and understand that, like, I actually need to do this first for this to happen. Instead of thinking I'll make all of this money and then I'll start training. It's like you start training now so you can make all this money. Or when we have, a full staffed team to train, then we're going to start to be consistent in the life and the health. Flip it. Be consistent now. And so, guys, I hope this helps. These are things that I have personally dealt with. And, as I was taught about this, I don't have time objection, or even just like objections that we're hearing from customers and prospects, or that we're telling ourselves. When I was taught to kind of break it down into the macro, the seasonal, the micro, the day, the hour by hour, and then the when-then fallacy, it's helped me comprehend that most of the time when we tell ourselves we don't have time, or our customers are telling us, or our prospects are telling us that we don't have time, they don't have time, it's not actually the real reason as to why they're not choosing to do it. It's just the tip of the iceberg. But being able to understand those three areas allows us to know what questions to ask, allows us to know where to go next, and maintain childlike curiosity and just help them solve their problems. So anyways, guys, I hope that this was helpful. If you get the I don't have enough time objection, try these things out. But also, if you find yourself giving that excuse to some businesses, to your agent, to your different team member coworkers, or just in general, evaluate what piece of this is and just kind of think through it. And I think it's going to help you. So anyways, appreciate you guys. And, as always, if you are interested in taking your sales to the next level as a team member, or agents, if you are interested in taking your production in your agency to the next level, reach out to us about the team member perspective today. Get on a call with us, no strings. We can see if it's a good fit, but I'll tell you, with the hundreds of agencies that we're helping, it has seemed to be a good fit. When we're having agencies do things that they've never done before, people are making more money than they ever have, we're protecting more financial futures, and we're finding a lot of fulfillment in the process. So I appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you in the next episode.